All right, Olu, thank you for taking the time to be with us here today.
No.
I gave you an overview of what we're gonna do here today, but if unless there are any other questions,
No.
we can jump right into it. Okay, so Mr. Olu, what country do you hail from?
I come from Nigeria. I was born in England and then I lived in Nigeria and now I'm here. So in English and Nigerian.
Okay, okay. So what? You said so you were born in England, then moved to Nigeria,
Yeah.
then came to the U.S. How old were you when you left England to go to Nigeria?
I was 10 years old when I left England and then I moved to Nigeria and I lived there for what, 9 years?
Okay, okay.
9 years.
And then you left Nigeria to come to the U.S. So what brought you here to the U.S.?
Education mainly. I felt like I wanted something different. I'd been to England, I'd been to Nigeria, so I wanted something different, a change, and I came to America. And yeah, it was because American education is great, apparently, and it is. It is.
Okay, okay. So when you left Nigeria to come to America, it
Mhm.
was solely for school. Did you move here by yourself or did you bring family with you?
Yeah, my family's still in Nigeria. My sister's studying in South Africa, but I have family here. So my uncle is in New Jersey. My other uncle is in North Carolina. Another
Okay.
uncle in California. I came knowing I had people to rely on here. So I didn't move with my family. I just came myself.
Okay. All right. Well, so it sounds like you had definitely a fallback, some people you could communicate with.
Hmm.
So did you have any difficulties adjusting to American culture, would you say?
American culture. I guess it was really different from what I expected because before coming to America, you know, I'd only thought of America as stuff I saw through movies. I mean,
Okay.
I knew the things on the news were true, but I only looked at the big things like the changing of presidents or bombings or things like that. Other than that, it was things like American Pie and
Believe it or not, that's the second American Pie reference I've gotten since I've started these.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Well, yeah, that and like Boondocks and stuff, things like that kind of shaped my view of what I thought America was going to be.
Okay.
And I don't know. Racism, for example, that wasn't
Hmm.
something that I thought was still real, but coming here, I see it happen. So it's not as fictional as the word. It's just it's actual day to day life.
Okay. So were these like personal attacks or were these things that you just saw kind of like in society?
Things I saw in society,
Okay.
like nothing drastic has happened to me, but I hear people, my friends, now talk about
Mhm.
it on a day. Well, some on a daily basis, some more sparse. Sparse. Sparse.
Yeah, yes, of
Sure.
course.
Cool.
Okay. Would you say that I guess there was like a transition period where you were uncomfortable here?
um, Uncomfortable. In what sense uncomfortable?
Not necessarily like the basis of the racism, just like overall in general, being in a new place.
Personally, no. I mean, because I've moved around before.
Okay.
I guess I was most uncomfortable when I moved from England to Nigeria, so I kind of had that whole new environment thing, and I was expecting that when I came here, so I was more
Okay.
prepared. But yeah, so I wouldn't say uncomfortable. I was prepared to face a new environment.
Okay. So how long have you been in America?
I've been here for 3 years. That's when I started university, but I had visited before. So I've been to New Jersey, I've been to California, I've been to North Carolina and Washington, but only for short periods of time, like holiday periods.
Okay. Okay. So theoretically, not theoretically, you will graduate. After
Hopefully.
after you graduate, um, I guess after you finish your traditional education. So if you
Hmm.
decide to do post grad, is America somewhere you would plan on staying, or would you go back to Nigeria, maybe England?
Honestly, all kind of options right now. I came here with the mind of going back to Nigeria straight away, but that's not looking very likely. I'm probably going to stay here for a while, maybe a long while. Maybe I'll go to England, but I guess I've liked the development, the life of a developed country more because coming from a third world country, there are aren't things that are taken for granted here aren't taken for granted there, like constant electricity, for example.
Right.
Things that I should fix or should try and fix, but as one person is not as easy as saying it.
Right.
But yeah, I think I've grown accustomed again to this kind of lifestyle and would prefer that than to go back immediately.
Okay. So let's break this next one into two pieces since you kind of sort of came from two pieces or places rather. What would you say has been the biggest difference in American culture as opposed to that of Nigeria, and then separately that of England?
Okay, so in Nigeria, I guess the opposition to change in Nigeria is a lot more than, and it's more accepted in America, I think, from my perspective. Like, people are more willing to change either themselves for the betterment of their country. Like, it's not what America can do for you, but America can do for your country. It's not what American can do for you, but for what you can do for your America or for your country. I've forgotten if
Yeah, something along those lines, right?
But I can barely see that being said in Nigeria or practiced at the moment, and I think it's pro for America in that sense. So I guess, yeah, and in England, difference, I'd say, seeing as they're both developed countries, like the difference in things like police brutality and gun laws is something that I found shocking, something that is drastically different. Like, the stories that I see on the news of police brutalities here is unheard of in England, and the fact that you can own a gun so easily here is ridiculous in my viewpoint. I don't see why it is just the right to bear arms that is the only thing you need to get a gun. So I guess the mindset of people is different in all places.
Okay. All right, so now we're gonna backtrack a little bit. You said that you had some impressions on the country prior to arriving. American Pie, for example. Could you elaborate on what those impressions were, and I guess how they lined up with reality?
Yeah. Okay. So American Pie, for example, university or college was fun, and Americans were stupid. So I wasn't really expecting as much drilling as I've gotten from tech and from other universities. I imagine that Americans are actually smart. They're not all not all the stereotypical, hillbillies that you see. And
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
I'm glad. I mean, yeah, like I said, racism is a real thing. It's not something that is to be joked about. It's not something that is to be taken lightly. It's something, because I've been grouped into these people. Well, these people, us, like the black community is something that I didn't. How do I say this? I don't know. That I didn't, because in England, you can be black, you can be white, it's not really your color, but your socio-economic standing that kind of separated you. But in America, it's more your skin color than what you do that kind of separates you. So I was, forcefully or put into a certain category of people just because of things I can't control.
Right.
And I've forgotten where I was going with this, but cool.
Just no, it sounded like you were traveling on the lines of like because this is the impression I got. It
Okay.
sounded like you were saying like in England, like black people didn't have to hang out with black people. You
Yeah.
weren't like forced into that group.
Yeah.
Like you weren't, I guess, segregated rather would be a good way to talk about it.
Yeah, like and I guess identity. Like when I was my freshman year, I was strong on the fact that I was not African American. I'm an African in America, and from that, people kind of assumed that I didn't like African Americans, which isn't the case. I'm just saying I am not an African American. I wouldn't. I felt like just because I'm black didn't make me an African American.
Right.
Just because, and me saying, I felt like me saying I was an African American will kind of be an insult to African Americans because I'm saying that I've been through everything they've been through. It's not something that I can say I've experienced, but some people didn't see it like that and still don't see it like that. But, yeah. So I guess classification of who you are because of what you look like. I mean, I guess it's a global thing, but I've seen it more in America than I have in anywhere else I've lived.
Okay. So given, well, I didn't mean to cut you off if I
No,
did
you're
with anything. So given your impressions, would you say that you were positively or negatively surprised with what America is as opposed to what you thought it was?
A bit of both.
Okay.
Positively surprised. People are friendly. I'm joking. People are, I guess, inquisitive in a sense that that's both pros and cons. They want to know about more about my culture, but I feel that they could do a bit more research. Like I have been asked if I lived in huts, which I think in this century is ridiculous because you can literally go on Google and see houses that, you know, put some houses here to shame. You can see neighborhoods that are ridiculously wealthy. And
then we'll say this is part of kind of that race thing that you mentioned. In America, the entirety of Africa is advertised as one big village.
yes, like it's they ask if some people I've met that think Africa is a country, like, do you speak African? And I'm like, no, that's not a language. Afrikaans is a language spoken in South Africa, but African is not a language. It's not. I think it's because America is so big compared to when I say big, I mean like in Europe you can hop on a train and go from country to country. America, you can hop on a train and the same distance to go from one country into another country, you'll still be in the same state. So people live in the American bubble and don't really think otherwise. They don't think that it's different outside. So I can see where they're coming from, but I don't see their ignorance as an excuse of,
right,
you know, as a justification. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so here's the last question we've got listed.
Cool.
Are there any interesting or pressing stories you've got from like when you first got here? It could be good, bad, funny, otherwise, just something interesting.
Interesting. I'm not a very interesting person, you see, so I don't know.
I completely and totally disagree, but continue.
I when I first came here, I got swindled, kind of. It was a taxi person because I came here alone, and I came here I think a couple days after registration started. So I came here because of visa issues back in my country. So the person who was supposed to pick me up had to leave because I was held at the airport for 2 hours because I came after day one of school. So I was held at the airport for 2 hours, yeah. And they called Georgia Tech. They were like, is he really a student? And I'm like, yeah, I am. You shouldn't be doing this. I showed them my British passport as well. Like, you can't really do this. I can, you know, make some noise, but I was tame. So they did that, and then I got out of the airport. Didn't know what the MARTA was, so I didn't know the Georgia Tech was really close to the MARTA stations. So I took a taxi to Tech, and they charged me $50. because I guess your face, yeah, $50.
Wow.
And I didn't know any better because first time actually independent in America,
Right.
and just speaking to the cab driver, he must have assumed that, well, he knew that I was
That you
international,
were
that
not
was
from here.
fresh off the boat, if you will. So yeah, that was my first
Wow.
impression of America.
Wow. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
A
so I guess that
Marta
was
trip.
interesting.
I'm sure you've done the math by now. Less than a tenth of that.
I know. It was bad. So
Wow.
yeah, that was literally the first.
Yeah, that was the
thing
first
that
impression.
happened when I came to America.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
It's always fun trying to get people to say my name. And I think my name is different, but there are names that I feel with effort you could pronounce. But even my abbreviated version of my name, which is Olu, people still mess that up on.
They mess up OLU.
They mess up OLU. I spell it out for them, and I don't understand how they knew it. But you can pronounce names like Djokovic, and if you see the spelling of McConaughey, I don't know how. I can't even. If I looked at that word, I'm like, okay, cool, but it comes off your tongue like butter. So I feel like the foreign idea kind of overwhelms some people, and they can't just get past it, which is it's interesting. I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's something I've seen.
Wow. OLU.
Yeah, I've literally defaulted to saying my name twice. Like, what's your name? Olu? 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 Do you need me to spell that for you? I guess it's just
Which apparently it doesn't even matter because
no,
OLU is on
complicated enough.
on a 12th grade reading level, and not all the people you meet are. So
Yeah.
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
You got gypped out of $50.
straight off
People-
the bat. Oh my
Wow,
God.
that is a wild first impression.
Yeah.
Whoa.
At the time, I didn't even know it was wrong. I was like, "Oh, everything's expensive in America."
Oh wow, that is crazy. How long did the drive take?
I don't remember
Because
It
he
was
would
like
he had to circle around like 8 or 9 times to get the $50.
I mean, he didn't even do the fare thing. I noticed that in the beginning of the ride, but no, he didn't. He wasn't like Nothing said $50. I just asked him how much the ride was, and he said 50. So. And I didn't tell anyone about it until like a month or two after I got
He
there.
didn't even have the decency to drive around in circles. He took you straight here and then lied to your face and said, "That'll be 50 bones, brother."
Basically.
Wow, that's cold blooded.
I know.
That is cold blooded.
It really is. Yeah.
Well, now you know not all Americans are dumb because some of them are con men.
I agree. That is true.
Whoa, that's crazy. Okay, wow, we got off track. Do you have any others or?
None that I can think of right now.
Okay, well, Olu, I appreciate your time. OLU, we
Yes,
appreciate your
correct.
time. Thank you for sitting down with us today. So, this is going up on a website that we're using to turn in for the project that we're going to present in the near future. If you want, I can send you a link as soon as the video is done. There may be a big compilation,
That'd be cool.
or it'll be like a bunch of individual videos where you can go read all the stats and information and the takeaways and whatnot. Would you be interested?
I would be
receiving that link?
interested,
Okay, I will give that to you as soon as it comes out.
Okay.
Again, appreciate your time, OLU. Hopefully America treats you better while you're here.
Hopefully.